Welcome back to the FNCE Floor. We are here at the Food and Nutrition Conference and Expo, and we're wrapping it up. It's day 3, super exciting. Have you been having fun?
Yes, I was actually dreading coming, and so I really got
Why?
I don't know. I think I was just in that headspace where I was like, really, is it another FNCE? Is it going to be different? But really,
And it didn't disappoint, did it?
No, it did not.
Okay. So if you've never been to FNCE before, we strongly encourage you to come and join us. It's been like a 3-day party, really intense. So I am, as you know, through this series of conversations from the FNCE Floor, talking to a lot of different people, right? Like experts in different areas of nutrition. And today I'm going to let you introduce yourself, but I'm here with Christie Hunter, who is a member of our community, uses all of our stuff like brilliantly. And she has a group practice. And for some registered dietitians who are in private practice, group practice might be a little intimidating. So I just kind of want you to break it down for us. So let's start with who you are, Christie, and why did you become a dietitian in the first place?
So I became a dietitian, I knew in high school, because my mom was a registered nurse, and I knew I wanted to be in the medical field some way, but I didn't have the stomach to be a nurse. So I decided to be a dietitian, and I was one of those that never changed, never wavered whatsoever. I only applied to colleges that had nutrition programs and never turned back.
That's so cool.
It's so unusual.
It's very unusual. Now, were you just because your mom was a nurse? Why you didn't want to be a nurse because it was too intense for you, and you're just like, oh, did you like food? Like, why registered dietitian? Because in healthcare, you really could have been anything else.
I could have, but my dad was diagnosed with high cholesterol in high school.
There you go. Right.
And
So that was
said,
okay.
Oh, you should modify your diet.
Okay. Oh, amazing. Did he work with a dietitian?
No.
Oh, okay. So you're like, I need to get here so I can help, right?
Yes.
People like my dad.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So who do you serve, Christie, in your well, before we do that, sorry, losing my train of thought here. Tell us about your practice, because you're not a solo practitioner. So how many practitioners do you have, and like kind of how did that start?
Yeah. So I had a first-time job in the clinical setting at a hospital, worked in that setting for 6 months, and then said, you know what, I don't know if I want to do this. And I switched over to employee wellness. So I did employee wellness at the hospital for 10 plus years and loved it, loved everything about it. I had an amazing boss. This is going to come back in a minute. That was wonderful and supportive of me. And I got to go and speak to all these higher ups and learn what is driving their decisions when it comes to employee wellness. So I got to sit at the table with the HR executives, the higher hospital administrators, hear from the health insurance plans, what they were looking at. And I did that. And then I had a friend who had a private practice that focused on eating disorders. And she said, Christie, you should be a dietitian and have your own practice. And, this would be great because I could refer all these people to you that I can't see. And so
I think I know where this is going, and I can't believe that I don't know this.
I did. And
was it Rebecca?
No, it was not Rebecca.
Who was it?
Julie Duffy Dillon.
Oh, okay.
And so I started a practice. And again, never in a million years did I intend to quit my job. I love my job. I love the people I worked with. It was just going to be a side hustle. And then it became a side hustle that was so busy that I was working all the time. And then
you were a solopreneur for how long were you a solopreneur for?
3 years. But
but
hold on, listen to this fun fact. I hired my first dietitian before I quit my job myself. So I brought somebody on before
smart
I was willing to quit.
Okay.
So then after a year, then I quit and came on full time as well. And then just kind of through the years, so that was like 2014, through the years have added. And now we have a team of 7 of us total. I have an office manager full time, and then I have 5 dietitians.
That's a great. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know your story. Wonderful. So oftentimes when we're talking about content, because I'm a content creator, right? So we talk about niching down. You can't create content until you know who you are speaking to. Yes. For you, though, being a group practice, are you a generalist?
Yes. So when people ask us what our kind of group practice specialty is, it's corporate wellness. So we go and service, right? We go out to employers in our community and say, we can make you a better employer and reduce your costs and all of this. And so what we do is we use these wonderful presentations that are already created. Go
Living Plate RX plug there. I'm not paying for that.
No, she's not. No, she's not. It's a game changer though. So we go out and do presentations, and then we also, since it's covered by their benefit package, we see those employees one-on-one.
Okay, if you guys aren't thinking opportunities right now, that's the hat you should be putting on.
Yes, it really, because here you have this audience that they all have the same insurance plan. They all have that same benefit. And so what we do is we market directly to those. And because of my experience, I was able to know what those HR and insurance people and executives are looking for and speak that language. And I feel very confident in knocking on doors and saying, we can help you out.
Amazing. So you actually you do have a niche, but you're under that niche. Hey, you're a generalist, right? You have to serve that population with all of their different needs.
Correct. Now, that's one portion of our private practice, right? We still also get physician referrals and see people that just find us through their insurance directory. And that is a generalist, more of a practice. Yes.
Yeah, but you have the staff to support it, right? Like
Correct.
one person couldn't do all of that.
No, correct. So we have like a dietitian that's more specialized in gut health. We have two dietitians that do food sensitivity testing. We have somebody else that kind of likes to focus on the menopausal women population. So we have a good variety of dietitians and specialties.
Amazing. So we've been here for 3 days. What is inspiring you? Like, what are you going to be bringing back to your practice from FNCE 2023?
Okay, so two things that I'm taking back.
Oh, she's very certain.
Yes,
she's very certain.
I like to reflect on all this. So okay. I'm very certain. Two things. I need to work on some leadership stuff, and I learned a lot of really good stuff, not in the sessions, sorry to the academy, but just by talking to other dietitians and networking. So I learned some good leadership stuff that I'm going to take and grow with, and that's going to help me to continue to expand my practice and be the best leader. Going back to my initial story, I had the best boss ever that made it really hard to leave. And my goal is to be that boss and to have a practice that employees like working with and that they value, their job and working for somebody great. The other thing I want to take back is there's been a lot of great sessions talking about like weight inclusive and the new diabetes medicines and how can we help, anti-obesity medicines, how can we help service those clients and also try to make sure that it is a health focus. And I've got some really good information for that. But I will say this, but the best session was the burnout session. And I think if you haven't listened to it, you need to. It was yesterday morning. It was amazing. And so I'm going to go back to my team too, and we're going to talk about how do we prevent burnout.
Amazing. Tell people where they can connect with you. So if they're an RD just looking to connect with you as a colleague, or if they're looking for services, where do they find you?
Yes. So we are at Christie RD, and on my LinkedIn is Christie RDN. Excuse me. We're so exhausted.
It's again, day 3.
Instagram is Christie RDN. Facebook is Christie RD. But I also have another business that I work and do consulting and a membership platform for people looking to have documents, not nearly the scale that Jeannie has, but so also for group practice. So if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. So if you're looking to start a group practice, she is your person. So just before we wrap up, what is your connection to Rebecca? Because you and I were, all right. So first of all, a very dear colleague of ours, and you hear the story in a second, received a Nutrition Entrepreneur of the Year award, which is a big deal here. And she and I were crying in the room. I'm like, I know that there's some kind of a connection between you and Rebecca. I actually don't know it. Can you share it with me?
Yeah. So I just, we say this all the time. Like, I feel like dietitian, we knew who Rebecca was. If you were in private practice, you knew Rebecca Bitzer's name. You knew she wrote a book. You knew her, right? So I knew of her. And then at this FNCE, I went to a happy hour and Rebecca said, hey, we're thinking about starting a mastermind for group practice owners. Would you want to get in?
How long ago was that?
We think 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. Thank God it was before COVID because it got us through COVID. And so there were 7 of us that formed a mastermind. We still meet now. And so Rebecca has been a huge mentor for me. And I asked her, I was like, have you been nominated for this award? And she's like, no. And I was like, well, my God.
How is that possible? Right?
So I was so excited to see her receive the award. She's done, if you guys don't know, if you are in private practice, she paved the way for private practice owners. And she is truly a pioneer in our field. And we owe it to her for all of our successes.
I agree. She was my business coach. Did you know that?
I hired her for a business coach as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So when I opened up my private practice, and here's a good lesson. If you're not all the time, but I would say generally speaking, if you have a vision for your practice and you need support and accountability, hire a business coach who has done what you want to do. And if you are looking to build a private practice at the time that I was doing it, it was Rebecca. Rebecca had built a multi-location. Now I ended up pivoting away from private practice. But when I had that idea in my head, guess who the first person I reached out to was?
Yeah, Rebecca.
Rebecca. I'm like, Rebecca. And she provides such sound, thoughtful advice. And she's just a wonderful person. So we share that in common. So
let me add one more thing.
Okay, it's a Rebecca show now.
Yes, it's Rebecca fan club, right? So, but I will say that Rebecca and Jeannie both have very similar personalities, and that they love to support and empower dietitians. And I can't say enough about that because it is so helpful and it shows through all of the things that you guys do. And so for Rebecca to be able to get this recognition and for us to be able to say, like, you really helped us was huge.
It's amazing. So great to always connect with you.
Yes.
I really appreciate your time doing this. Again, Christie RD is the website, right?
Yes.
So reach out to Christie if you'd like to connect. Talk soon. Thank you, guys.